Hey, how's it going? Gunner here. Yesterday I posted a video and I realized that I made a small mistake on tuning the bow. Like I was saying before, I went and shot my broadheads and realized that they were not hitting the same point as my field tips. So a lot of people would just resight their bow, sight it in for their broadheads. Issue with that is it does not mean that your broadheads are bad or they're flying wrong. It means more likely than not that your broadheads and your field tips, they're hitting two different places, your bow is out of tune. So I decided to paper tune my bow to check it, and I was correct. Had to do some adjustments, and what I said yesterday was tail low. What I meant to say is tail high. As you can see on the paper, my first couple shots, the arrow's hitting down low, the fletchings are up high, so I'm shooting tail high. That was my second shot here. Then I tuned a little bit, third shot, fourth shot, did a little adjustment, fifth shot's getting close, and then my last two arrows here and here, which are perfect. I got the hole right dead center, and then three fletchings on both of them. With that, all I did when you're shooting tail high, and sorry about my hand in front of the camera, when you're shooting tail high, what you want to do is check your knock points, make sure that they're in the correct location. I'll show you on my bow what I did for the knocking. Put it up against paper so you can see it. I served in a pair of knocking points, did 6 wraps on the bottom knock, 4 on top. It was pinching my arrow, my D-loop was, so putting the knock points in and creating just a little bit of a gap, no more than a string length or two. The knock points will not pinch the arrow. It allows the arrow to fly off nice. And then what I did from that point is my knock points were in the correct location. I just moved my rest up just a little bit, not even a 1/16 of an inch, just a little bit to get the arrows to fly correctly. And I'm going to be checking my arrows with my broadheads, and they should be flying good. Show you my setup for this year. Shooting the Mathews Halon 6. I'm using a Muzzy quiver. A little trick I did on the quiver is up in the hood there's no padding, and I doubt if you can see it because it's so dark, but there's no padding whatsoever. And I noticed a few other brands do that too. I like shooting fixed blade broadheads, so I put just a 1/4 inch of padding up in their little foam, pipe insulation foam, and glued it in place, and that way the broadheads will not rattle. I got mosquitoes everywhere. The sight that I'm using, the IQ bow sight, seems to work really well. Once you get the eye on top adjusted, I don't know if I can get that in the camera or not, but there's a green eye up on top. Once you get that lined up, you'll never torque your bow, and it seems to be working really well. This rest I'm using is an NAP Nighthawk. Seems to work really well, and then I got an NAP stabilizer also. The stabilizer has rubber dampeners, but you can adjust them forward or back to kind of adjust the weight around. Shooting approximately 65 pounds. Haven't chronographed it. Seems to be shooting pretty well. And we did do some adjustments with that to tune the bow. And so I took it down 5 turns from being bombed out, and I took it down to 48 pounds and maxed out. It goes to 71.5, right in that ballpark. The targets, I'll show you my target setup. Okay, I built the target butt here. We have a bag target that my daughter bought. It's 4 bows up to 400 feet per second, so crossbows are great out of it. I got the Glendale buck. I've already flipped the insert 1 time. Maybe I have to buy a new one again. The backing on my target here, it's a horse mat, cattle stall type mat. You can get them at Farm Fleet for about 35 bucks. The arrows will not pass through it. If you're shooting broadheads and you miss the target, just unscrew the broadhead, pull the arrow back out. If it goes into the target or through, I've never had a single arrow go over 4 inches into the target. My paper tuner, all I did is put a piece of conduit in the ground. I got a kid's child gate. So when I'm done using it, I just move it out of the way, and that way I can still shoot. Just cut the screen out, so it works really well. It's a nice little frame, and I have an extra one in case this one ever goes bad. But that's kind of what I'm doing this year. Sight my bow into 40 yards. Rarely do I ever shoot that far. Most of my deer have been in the 20 yard and under range. But yeah, I just want to clarify that if you're shooting, tail high, when you're shooting through paper, if you're running tail high, what you want to do is lower your knock point or adjust your rest up a little bit higher, and just the opposite if you're shooting tail low. Left, right, if you can try, just start out by following the arrow with your rest. But for your fixed broadhead shooters, if you're shooting and you start having problems with the broadheads not hitting the same point as your field tips, more than likely your bow is out of tune. Pretty simple fix. I believe that pretty much any fixed blade broadhead you can at least keep within 2 to 3 inches of your field tips. Just make sure your bow is totally in tune. If you have any problems, go to your local pro shop and they can check your tune and paper tune it for you. My little target area I have here, as you can see, I can go up to 40 yards. I do have a tree stand set up in the target range, so if I want to shoot from the tree, we can do that. I have a little spot to hold the bows when we're shooting, and then way out by the telephone pole, that's approximately 40 yards right there. If I ever went out west, then I would definitely check my bow out to 60 yards plus, but I'm pretty confident. Been shooting this bow for about a week now, and it's a dead-on bow. It's amazing how nice it shoots. But any bow shoots well in the right hands of the right user. If the bow is in tune, doesn't matter what brand it is, doesn't matter what kind it is, they all shoot the same direction. So just get out there and good luck hunting, and we'll check back later.